Now, when I was growing up myself, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I noticed very early on I like girls. And I mean light, not just straight. I mean, as if I was willing to kiss them, even though the other kids would pick on me and say silly things to me when I was a kid, like Shane and Lisa sitting in the tree, Kissing. Right? First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes Shane with a baby carriage. Right? People would still pick on me about things I did, right, as a kid, but I didn't know it was right or wrong or what I was really supposed to do. Now, all I know is, like I said, once within the third, or probably the second time anyway, the third grade, I should have been in the fourth, by the way. I did try to sleep with our next door neighbor's daughter, who was about the same age, right? I remember getting her naked, taking off her underwear in the back of our grapevine, which was behind the house. Both our houses, yeah. Where we lived, them in one house, the one right beside ours, and ours was right beside theirs, right? Now I remember once getting her naked, right? I don't really remember the details, I was only third grade, right? Fourth grade, right? Whatever. But I do remember that part unless I dreamed it or something, but again, I'm pretty sure it was her. It was her. And we got naked in the grapevine. Gladys Knight's song, I heard it through the grapevine. Well, I got naked with a girl in the grapevine, okay? At about fourth grade level. mm-hmm. Technically. And again, right, that's not everybody's story, but it is mine, right? I also noticed when a girl is getting older how she develops and found them attractive around me. Hello? That's most boys my age too, right? Start noticing girls around my age, right? Is there something wrong with that? Right. Now, I was also taught there's something called an age of consent, right? Which means a person has to be a certain age before they can consent to have sex with you. Well, guess what? The age of consent in Georgia is 16, right? Now, once I'm told that, what do I have to do? Ask someone's age, right? To make sure they're older than 16 or try not to have sex with them at all, right? Right. That's all I know about it, too. Now, if I'm making statements here and you're not listening to the videos, you're wasting your time and my time by saying stupid comments I never said. Right. Let's get that out of the way first. Now, in Virginia, New York, and California, guess what the age of consent is there? 18, right? That means anyone over 18 can consent to sex and have sex. Or say no to sex and not have sex, right? Right. You don't understand that? I do, right? Even hearing voices, right, in my head don't mean I don't try to understand that, right? Okay, that means if I ask you your age and you tell me you're a certain age, I could be with you if you're like 37, but if you told me you were 15, I couldn't try to be with you, right? Sexually, that is. At all. No matter what, right, you're doing wrong. Even if you're doing something wrong, I'm not trying to get you in trouble for doing something wrong, but you can get in trouble if you're doing something wrong too, right? By the way. We're both not supposed to do something wrong where you can get in trouble for doing the wrong thing. All right. Though again, right, all you can do is ask the person, and they're either telling you the truth or they're lying to you too, which makes it hearsay, right? Or he said, she said, right? That's the problem with he said, she said. Both parties can be lying. You don't want to know the truth sometimes, and you don't assume to know the truth either. You got to listen to both sides of the story. If you're not hearing the whole story, you're already biased in your judgments of the person. Now, what I am telling you, though, is by 93, I started hearing voices in my head, like something saying, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Jerusalem 3 times, of a religious nature, by the way, like the people in the Bible, though until then, I didn't hear voices in my head. And go around telling people that, right? Though I did confess it kind of in my book, because I'm not sure by then what the hell's going on with me, right? If I heard voices after my dream or not, right? One time when reading through the book of Revelations, I might have heard a voice say that. I'm not sure, right? But it's still in a religious content reading the Bible. If I heard a voice or not, right? See, that it could be a religious experience which cannot be proven scientifically. Can you prove the types of gases in the air you cannot see? No. You don't have a way to tell the different kinds of gases in the air, scientists, just like you can't see God and live, right? Because God's in you, like God is life itself. Your existence is proof God's alive. Because if God didn't exist, you wouldn't exist. That's kind of the premise there, right? To see God, you got to be dead. The living, you can't see something that made it, right? Nor can you really understand it scientifically perfectly, right? Though there are 10 different types of gases in the air that you cannot see, just like you cannot see God in it, right? So I'm holding the camera up to the sky. Now, the sky, all the way up to the ozone layer, is called heaven, right? Outside the ozone layer is called the second heaven, and there's even supposedly a third heaven. I don't know where that is, but it's somewhere else. That's all I know. Let's talk about it. It might be even in the fourth dimension, even, right? That we're no longer a part of, by the way, because we sinned a great sin against our planet or something, right? And when we sinned, it caused us to fall or be punished for the sin itself. Not that God was going around to punish us, but the act itself and what the other being did with it, right, after we sinned with him. If God says you have become as one of us to know good and evil, what does that mean, Christians, Jews, or Muslims, right? Who is this one of us the Bible brought up there, right, in the story itself? Well, it sounds like it's someone who became like one of us and taught us good and evil. And we're dealing with that, all of us, both scientifically and religiously, right? Problem is, though, it seems, right, it's the religious part you have a problem with more than anything else, right? I know. Because, see, being that God's a spirit, you can't see it, but I don't mean it couldn't talk to you, but it can only talk to you perhaps telepathically or in your mind, right? That's another thing, right? That can't be proven or disproven. Is God speaking to someone in their head or not? And how do you know if it is or not, right? Or is it the bad guy who's speaking to you from hell itself, which is where he himself perhaps died, right, in the form he sinned in to cause us to die with him, right? Which is really, if you read Ezekiel 31, the suggestion of what happened there. He went down into the grave, right, after he sinned with Adam and Eve, right? When was this? In Eden. Tells you that in Ezekiel 31:2. What was he called? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It tells you the other trees also in the garden envied him, right? Well, I don't know trees have human emotions, but I know human beings do, or beings who can assume human form do, right? They too can have human emotions, right? And if they're compared to as trees, right, though we can move around, it means we can also bear offspring or fruit of our bodies, right? Which is why God said, be fruitful and multiply to everything, both plant and animal life forms. Be fruitful and multiply, it said, to us both, and made certain organisms asexual, hermaphroditic, and male or female. Now, if God Christians, listen to this, is seen by the things it made, right? It made us male and female, and through circumcision, Jew or Gentile. There's also something called bond or free, right? These two ideas, right, are different ways of viewing human anatomy, right, or human mentality as well. Bond means you have to follow a set of rules, and free means you don't have to follow a set of rules, right? And they don't apply to you necessarily, right? And that's the problem too. It's called free will, right? Now, when you follow laws, right, you're bound to the laws, right? In other words, everyone has to play by the same set of rules or you're breaking the rules, right? Even I know that at 54, right? But what I don't know, right? And the other problem is everybody can break the rules, including lying or not telling you the whole truth, right? But you don't know someone's lying or telling you the whole truth, right? You have to ask these questions, and hopefully you're told the truth, right? Which is what I keep trying to explain to you. Exactly. And how I had to learn that myself growing up, though I made mistakes, right? But I don't think they were that major of a mistake, right? I think they were more innocent mistakes that nothing really happened, but that you're blowing it all out of proportion because something could have happened, right? So I would have to make it up because even I don't know anything actually happened, right? Which I keep telling you that too. And you weren't there to witness it, you're just assuming something, right? Well, when you assume something and you weren't there, you're making both me and you confused about it further when you weren't there. I know that too, right? And that's all I know too, right? If you're confused about something and I'm confused about the same thing, attacking me about it every day is only going to either cause more confusion or, again, if we both listen to each other, less confusion. But if I'm confused right now, you arguing with me about something I was told in my state versus a different state, still don't make it any less true, right? Per state, by the way. And that's what we're talking about too, right? No, but that's what I was told about it too, right? I keep telling you no, but that's what I was told about it too, right? Meaning I don't try to do that normally anyway, but if I was told something, I try to follow it, right? Unless someone tricks me into doing something wrong, right? I usually don't try to do something wrong. And if I had done something wrong, you could call the police on me and there'll be proof I did something wrong, right? Not you arguing with me about it, I did something wrong either. That don't prove nothing. That just proves you want me to have done something wrong, even if I didn't do nothing wrong. Surely you understand that's all I'm saying by now. I know.